I can honestly say there's no way I'd be able to play in this generation right now because I get suspended every single week for the way that I hit.
We talked about that today.
Yeah.
And if you played the way that you played in today's game,
Never.
first of all, nobody would even come in front of you. Like nobody would even.
No.
They'd be terrorized by the way that you played the game. It's because the game has changed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you would just you would dominate.
I get suspended.
the NHL.
I get suspended every week. I would because I used to hit to hurt.
Yeah,
I hit to hurt. I hit to inflict pain. I hit to try to get that upper edge, that mentality edge. And I mean, I hit a lot of guys, up high. I hit a lot of guys in the head. I hit a lot of guys and knocked them out. And back then, that was a code. That was an honor. That was a badge of honor. Now you get 5, 6, 7 games, $200,000 fines, and see you later. But the game's changed. There's no question. The talent is unbelievable now, but the toughness has definitely changed.
I'm going to bring up one name. This goes back to 1996. Patrick Waugh.
Oh, gosh.
I was on the other side of the equation. We were playing. I was with Colorado. We're playing the Blackhawks, and you and Patrick got into this. Well, he's still looking for his jock strap because it's in the rafters somewhere.
Yeah,
and he came back with.
Well, it's game 3. I score an unbelievable breakaway goal, and we win game 3, and we're up 2-1 going into game 4. And I don't know how many of you guys remember this game, but it was a close game 4, and we go into overtime. And if we win in overtime, we're up 3-1 on Colorado. And I have an all-out breakaway. And by the way, if there is a definition of a penalty shot breakaway, this is it. Because I'm all out, and Sandis Ozolinsh trips me from behind. I fall down, and no penalty. I'm like, how can there not be a penalty? And I'm just yelling and screaming. We end up losing. It became 2-2, and that was kind of the end of the series. But I'm screaming and yelling. I'm like, I would have ended this game in overtime. And Patrick Waugh goes, I would have saved it. And I'm like, oh, where were you in game 3? You're trying to get your jockstrap out of the rafters, right? And he came back with I don't heard what Jeremy Roenick say because of the 2 Stanley Cup ring that's blocking my ear. And I'm like, wow, that was a good comeback.
It's like, I got nothing.
Yeah, how do I get over that? So I can't get over that one. So it was, and then it was on like every television station, ESPN, and I had a chance to talk to Patrick about it, and we had a great time with it, because 2 great competitors, right? And we're never going to give in to each other. I don't want to give in to anybody, even if it was one of the best goaltenders of all time, who you had the glory to play with. But right here in this building. I mean, it would have been great to beat the Colorado Avalanche. And did you guys win in the Stanley Cup that year or just get short? Was that Detroit?
We happened to win it.
See, we would have won it if I would have scored that goal. See?
Honestly, we sat there and it was just like, that was a tough series. 3 or 4 games went to overtime.
Yeah, it was
in that series.
Yeah, and that was the deciding game, because 3-1 would have been great for us. 2-2, we were in big trouble.
Apparently, you're a pretty good dancer.
You're not,
because you do it on the ice.
I do.
I watched it today. I watched the clip. Has anybody seen it?
Yep.
Go to Jeremy Roenick dancing on the ice. How did that happen? And it was in LA when you were playing with the Kings.
Listen, does it surprise you that I dance on the ice? I always wanted to entertain.
It was just random.
Well, I wanted to entertain. I wanted everybody that came to the arena to have fun. I wanted to entertain you. I wanted you to laugh. I wanted you to get excited and yell and scream. And if you were the other team, I wanted you to boo me. I wanted you to cry. So there's a lot of things that I would do. And in this particular instance, we were playing in LA. It was a preseason game in Vegas, right? The glass breaks, and the guys don't know how to fix the glass. I mean, they don't play hockey in Vegas at the time, so they're literally 20 minutes, 25 minutes to fix the glass. And everybody in the place is going crazy. They're like, come on, fix the glass. They're getting antsy. And they're playing You Should Be Dancing by the Bee Gees. And I'm standing there telling the guy, hurry up, hurry up. And there was somebody dancing in the front row. So I start dancing with them. And we're dancing, and then the next row stands up and dances, and the next row, and sooner or later, the whole section is dancing with me. So I said, screw it, I'm gonna go dance in center ice and give everybody a little fun show. And have some fun. It is Vegas, right? Let's have some fun. And
Vegas, baby.
yeah, Vegas, baby. And by the way, there's not going to be another dancer on the National Hockey League floor again. I can guarantee you. But I had a lot of fun with that. But it's important. You guys want to be entertained every night, right? And so, however you need to do it, you got to find ways to do it. And I was one of those guys who wasn't afraid to make a fool out of himself, which I've done a lot, to tell you the truth.
Favorite moment in your NHL career, or a moment that stands out in your mind?
Wow. I think there are a couple. For those of you who were here for the '91 All-Star game, that was my first All-Star game here in Chicago. It was just after the Iran, the hostage situation, and we didn't know where they were going to have the game. And the amount of patriotism that this city showed during that game, it was the loudest Wayne Messmer ever sang. It was the loudest Chicago Stadium has ever been. There was a flag on every part of the and signs on every part of the Chicago Stadium. And I can remember never being more proud of being American, and then getting so close to Chicago in my first All-Star game right here at home. That was an amazing thing. And then my 500th goal, which was probably one of the most beautiful goals you've ever seen. I dumped it in, it hit the partition on the glass, and the goaltender was out. And when actually the goaltender knocked it into the net. Getting that 500th goal, I didn't know if I would be able to get it, and to get it against my old team was, 500 goals. I was like the third American ever to do it, so that was really, really special.
You've got some great friends. Yeah.
Thank you.
513 career goals.
Yeah, thank you.
You've got some great friends that you have here when you played for the Blackhawks. Savvy, Chelly, Larms,
Yeah.
Dirk Graham. But you mentioned as a savior, Doug Wilson.
Yeah.
Longtime great defenseman, Norris Trophy winner.
Yeah.
When somebody mentions Doug Wilson's name, what does it mean to you?
It's everybody needs that somebody that steps into your life and either changes your life or saves your life. And Doug Wilson was that guy for me. And in 2007, I was really in a tailspin, going down. I'm 4 goals shy of 500, and the free agent July 1 comes and nobody's calling. August 1st comes, nobody's calling, and I'm literally thinking my career is done. 4 goals shy of one of the most unbelievable achievements in hockey, and that just my entire will and everything went down, and it was a really, really hard time. Started drinking heavily and was not a good person to be around, was not being a good husband, was not being a good father. And Doug Wilson, who was my first roommate here in Chicago in 1988, who I think the world of, was the GM of San Jose. He called me and he says, JR, I want you to fly out to San Jose and see me. So I flew out. He picked me up at the airport. We went to the golf course. We got a 6-pack of beer and we went out and started playing. And he could see the desperation in my eyes. It was like, he could just see I was in bad shape. And he said, "How you doing, kid?" And I said, "Not so good." And we started talking. And he said, "How would you like to come play for the San Jose Sharks?" And I said, "Really?" I said, I would kill to come play for you. He goes, "Okay, you can come play for the Sharks, but I have 3 rules." He said, number 1, you have to play for the league minimum, which is 500. Number 2, no media, which was like really hard for me, but I said yes. And number 3, he said, no alcohol for the entire year. And I had a beer in my hand at the time. And I dumped the beer out, dropped the can, shook his hand, and literally scored my 500th goal like 3 months later. And I really believe I wouldn't be here for 2 people. If it wasn't for my wife, Tracy, who's the greatest female on the planet, no disrespect to everybody present. I have the best partner in life of all time, and Doug Wilson, because we all need friends, but we all need friends at certain times of our life. And Doug Wilson was that friend for me when I needed it, and it was really special. So
Unfortunately, that concludes our
No,
Q&A.
wait, no, we can't leave everybody now.
We do have another commitment downstairs, so we do have to get going right here.
So
Last words to these great fans here in
so
Chicago.
listen, shoot. So I got the call. I got the call from the Hawks a couple weeks ago. Asked if I'd like to come back and do a little celebration and be able to come back into this building and come back into this building with a lot of pride. When I left here in '96, it was literally the hardest thing that ever happened in my career. When I left here in '96, and I take a lot of responsibility for that. And you know, the Hall of Fame speech allowed me to cleanse and really get a lot of things off my chest and really tell everybody how much Chicago means to me. And just by having everybody here, showing up early, coming to listen to my goofy stories, and you know, sometimes gets a little crazy and emotional, but I can't thank you guys enough. I can't thank you for your support. I can't thank you for being here. You guys are the best, and I'm hoping I see everybody a lot more in the future. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hockey Hall of Famer, class of 2024, the great Jeremy Roenick.